Hello everyone, and welcome to RPG Limit Break. My name is Selcouthmind, and I am back with another episode of Hidden Encounters, the show all about indie and obscure RPGs. Now, I am very excited for the game we're going to see today, but first, I want to let you all know, if you haven't heard yet, RPG Limit Break, our charity event, is going to be coming back in May 17th to 23rd, in Denver, Colorado, in support of NAMI, the National Alliance on Mental Illness. But even more excitingly, game submissions are opening February 1st. So get your RPG runs ready, get those submissions set to go, because that's going to be opening very soon. You can learn more about that in our Discord or on our social media, !Discord and chat, to get a link to come join us in our wonderful community Discord. But with that being said, I am very excited about this run. I'm very excited about this runner. She's a lovely friend. And so threepup is here, bringing us a small Saga, any percent.
Alrighty, hello everybody. Hi, I am threepup. I'm really excited to be showing off this game. It's very special to my heart. I got a bit of a opening to explain some things during that, but before we begin, I did want to give a heads up for folks that this prologue has some heavy subject matter, loss of a loved one, and violence towards animals. I will call out the exact moment when that's actually happening, but I just want y'all to know that ahead of time. So in case you do want to dip out, I'll let you know when to come back as well. So I'm going to go ahead and click new game here, but time will not start until I actually gain control of the main character. So let's go ahead and get started. This is Small Saga, an indie RPG inspired by a lot of the RPGs from the SNES era, but this one has a bit of a twist. There is no grinding and no random encounters. All of our level ups are going to be milestone based. If you've ever played D&D that way, it's just at important story beats we're going to be getting level ups for skill points, and we'll spend those as we decide we need to. As we decide we need them. Here are our two opening characters. Here we have. I always forget his name, but I'll see it in just a second. Lance, yeah.
Brother Mouse.
It's Lance. Yeah, Lance is our brother. Verm here is our main character. I will be doing turbo through most of this dialogue, but there will be some moments here and there where I will slow it down for moments that I quite like. Alright. I have control now, so Mia, want to give me a countdown?
Yeah.
Also introduce yourself, because I forgot to throw it to you to introduce.
Oh, yeah. Hi, I'm MiaSchemes. I'm going to do the countdown now. 3, 2, 1, go.
Woo! So, this game plays at a top-down, isometric view. I'm going to be just moving my way through this opening here. Not a whole lot going on, just some tutorials on how to move. And we'll get into some combat in just a minute. Right here.
While we're wandering around here, I want to point out how much I love the world building of this game. Everything is super mouse-sized. It's great. The little objects they use, the quote unquote god weapons are just like little tiny human tools. It's great.
So here we're getting our first tutorial of combat here. It's action point based. Every turn you get one action point, and we can spend that on various actions that cost different amounts of action points. So this first combat is pretty simple here. We're just going to use Lance's power attack just on cooldown as we have energy for it, and then Verm doesn't have a whole lot going on in his moveset, so he's just going to be swiping with his sword. And round it up. If you noticed earlier that Lance just started T-posing his way forward, I don't know what happened there. I do use I like to use turbo for making it. I don't have to mash my way through all the dialogue. But sometimes that can seem to cause some weird interactions with within the game world. It is what it is.
The other day in practice, she was turboing, and we got a weird tech where one of the characters teleported mid-conversation, and she was closer to where she needed to go, and hey, all right, that's great.
Free speed tech.
Yeah, secret speedrun tech. Alright, here's our first boss, Chief Sawa. He wields a god weapon, which, as Mia mentioned, god weapons are just tools, well, wielded by the gods, also known as us humans. So this is just, a normal Swiss Army knife. But in the hands of a mouse, it's pretty big. Once again, this is going to be pretty simple. The only, interesting quirk here is that this fight is what teaches us how to defend. We don't normally defend a whole lot, because we're speedrunners, and defending is slow. But in this particular instance, we're going to defend right here, because he's taunting us to attack him, and he's going to do a big counterattack later. We don't want to deal with that. So we're going to ignore that, and then get back to our normal attack pattern here.
Can I just say that I love his little mouse pirate hat? Look at that little skull and crossbones.
It's very good.
Also, I don't think I ever paid attention to the tiny mouse portraits. They're so little.
That second taunt that he does, we've actually dealt enough damage to Sawa that we can actually just attack through it and win the fight. Sawa's not looking so great. He's just going to go take a quick little swim. And conspicuously leave that god weapon there. I'm sure that will not be important later. Sawa does mention this mysterious yellow god, which I also don't know what that's about, but we'll go see in a second. Real quick before I enter, though, this is the point where I mentioned with the loss of a loved one and violence towards animals, so if you are sensitive to those topics, I would recommend you look away for a bit, and I'll let you know when you can look back. I forgot to mention earlier, but Lance and Verm are on a little quest to bring some food back for their family. So they're taking a little excursion to Heaven, which is a grocery store. Yes, according to Sawa, folks have stopped journeying into Heaven to get food because of some yellow god making that difficult in some way. Verm and Lance kind of dismiss that as just like folk tales, so they just decided to keep going forward regardless. I love all the little the fake products on the shelves. They're pretty great. Alright, we're gonna go over here. Do a quick little QTE thing to push these sunflower seeds over. Verm smells something weird, but I'm sure it's fine. So we have met the Yellow God, and I will let this moment breathe for a bit, just because it is serious, and I don't want to crack jokes or anything. So this here is a scripted fight. We're just going to go ahead and mash our way through until the game decides to take control away from us. All right. For those of you who were looking away, you are good to come back now. I love this game a lot. It does have a really heavy opening, but I do feel like it's necessary for the story that it's trying to tell. This is our inciting moment that starts Verm on his adventure, on his quest for revenge against the Yellow God. And that moment lingers in Verm's mind in ways that we'll see throughout the game. But some time has passed, and here is Verm now, wielding that god weapon that Saga was once wielding. This game takes a lot of inspiration from a lot of different places. One of the obvious ones is Berserk. I always call this game like Mouse Berserk, and Verm here is our mouse guts. This here is a scripted fight that we're going to just, again, mash our way through until the game takes control away from us right here. And we're going to go ahead and meet our first party member, Shaban.
Shaban is great.
Shaban is the best.
So Shaban is a mole,
yes.
which means that they have not great eyesight, and there's going to be some bits related to that coming up.
Mm-hmm.
Also worth mentioning, Shaban's pronouns are they, them.
Yes. Again, one of my favorite things about this game is that every party member is queer in their own way. We have Shaban, who's non-binary, and we'll meet some other characters later. And then I'll point it out when we get to it, but there's some dialogue later in the game that implies that Verm is some flavor of asexual. I just think that's neat. But for now, we're in Cranbell, the Kingdom of the Moles. Verm is here to on his quest to find information on the Yellow God, so that he can enact his revenge. Shaban is the child of the ruler of Cranbell, so we go to the ruler and ask for questions, and the ruler is just like, no, get out of here. This is where we get introduced to one of our main themes of the game. We have these members of the ruling class of the Rodent Kingdom who are very stuck in their ways, refuse to see change, and when someone like Verm comes in and like taking on the cat that has been terrorizing Granbell for like months or like he can probably do it, but uh, Shaban's mother is like, well, no, we don't do that. That upsets the way things are supposed to be. But Shaban doesn't like that answer, so Shaban is taking us in the back of the library to their secret collection of god tools, including one very important tool that they're going to pull out right here, a lighter.
I gotta say, the Nokia phone, that little indestructible tank in the back, that's great.
Yeah.
Also,
Fun fact, that
oh,
Game Dude is playable. You can find a game to play on it. It's pretty fun.
oh, that's awesome. I was gonna say, speaking of the game dude, shoutouts to your Lego Game Boy you got.
Yeah, I got a little Lego Game Boy. It's fun. Yeah. Shaban has joined our party, and we're gonna go backtrack now to go actually fight the cat for real. All right. I will be skipping a lot of save points in this game just because a lot of these fights, they're not no RNG fights, but they are, like, all the damage rolls are set. So there's no RNG in terms of damage. I know how much damage I'm going to deal every time I click the button. So Verm here is going to rage, which makes it so his attacks are now double. You'll see that in just a second. Shaban is our wizard, and they do fireballs.
I love that it's fireballs too, because it's like a little lighter.
Mm-hmm. All right,
I think one of the coolest ways that Rage shows the extra damage is rather than just like doubling the number, it hits it twice, and I love that.
Just gonna do a normal attack.
Just a little flavor thing that's really cool.
Wormfire should just take it out. Yeah, we're good. Okay. We got our first level up there. We're not going to spend it quite yet. We're going to go do some story stuff first. Like, go bring the good news to Shaban's mother. Like, hey, yeah, we took care of the cat. It won't bother you anymore.
And that's going to go over super well.
That's going to go over great. So, yeah, come over here, bring out the good news. Surprise, surprise, Shaban's mother does not take it well, and instead of being happy, exiles Shaban from the kingdom forever.
That seems a little extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, your child took care of the problem, so time to exile them.
I kind of blazed through it because of Turbo again, but Verm does say something pretty important there that I think is just like reflective of the themes of the entire game. It's something along the lines of the old way is dead. And I think that's an important thing to keep in mind as like our heroes journey through this land that's very stuck in its ways and needs change, but no one wants to be the one to do it.
There's a quote I've been hearing lately, which is really good. And it's something along the lines of change occurs when the pain of staying the same is greater than the pain of change, really. I butchered the quote, but it's a good quote.
We do need a way out of out of Cranbell, and we hear some noises coming from this trash can. So we're gonna go ahead and investigate that.
Chat,
Do you need a way to go?
get ready to start bobbing your heads.
Yeah. Shaban finds a ruler from the child's backpack and just kind of steals it, I guess. Sorry. And thus begins my favorite running gag in this entire game. every time Shaban like lands, because like moles can't see very well, they faceplant. Also, hi, this is Dizzy. They're our airship, and whenever Dizzy is on screen and whenever the song is playing, you are legally obligated to bob your head. Yeah, we're gonna go over to Merida, the capital of the rodent kingdoms. Our next lead. Oh.
The squeak when they face plants, fantastic.
So good every time. There'll be like a serious moment happening, and then Shaban will just squeak faceplant, and it's all gone. It's so good.
Oh, let's go. Yeah. We're going to go enter Merida for our next lead on the Yellow God. But, yeah, they're not, like, taking visitors right now. So, yeah, we're gonna have to find another way in. Luckily, it's our next party member. This is Bruce. He is a red squirrel. He is also our bard. I'll get into what he does in combat a little later, but yeah, Bruce is our next party member. He is also gay, and we will meet his boyfriend later. And again, I think that's neat. Before we do,
I
though, we
want
get to do
chat
our
to pay
first
special
level ups.
attention to Bruce's weapon. 'Cause Bruce's weapon's really cool.
Okay. You saw a bit of level up menuing there. It's all based on like skill points and just a skill tree that's unique to each character. You can respec at will, just like freely, just like unclick a skill you've spent and spend it somewhere else. We do take advantage of that at the start of the game because these characters have skill points spent in a way, and we want to move that somewhere else. But yeah, we get to this segment here. We're going to just be like turning these pipes to unclog these pipes. And then for those of you who are sensitive to like depictions of insects and bugs, we're going to be fighting some like little roaches here. So yeah.
As someone who gets a little bit squicked out by bugs, these are just weird little guys.
Yeah,
but
Kind of cute, honestly.
they are still a little realistic. So,
you'll notice by Shaban's portrait that they now have this little icon of a lighter with an orange up arrow. That is important. I will explain it a little bit later when it becomes more relevant in combat. But that is what's called a stack of overclock. It's very important, and it will eventually mean that Shaban is our most important character in the party. But for right now, Verm is going to be our main damage dealer, because that Rage being able to double his attack into Cleave, which is also a double attack, meaning that at most, Verm could be doing 4 times his normal attack damage in one hit, which is really powerful this early. So powerful that we're going to go ahead and Rage here. Going to have Shaban Wormfire, one of those to kill it. And we're going to cleave this other one to get it out of the way.
So unlike a lot of games, Cleave is actually only a 1-target hit for Verm.
Mm-hmm.
Which threw me off a little bit the first time I was watching Three play this, but it is like a double single person hit, or single enemy hit.
Punished. I forgot. That was not the right one. No. There are some forced encounters with non-boss enemies, but like you'll see me like walking around those roaches. Lots of combat encounters in this game are skippable, and because there's no like experience, I do want to skip them as much as possible because there's not really any practical application to fighting them. It's just kind of a time waster. We need to spin these in the right order, which is indicated by the number written on the wall. We're going to go ahead and spin number 6 here to get to our next boss fight. We've been hearing some noises coming in the pipes. I wonder what that's about. Go ahead and walk around this guy. Oh, hi. It's the Kraken.
That's not a bug.
I did not expect that at all.
Yeah.
Alright, this is our first fight where Bruce joins the party. Bruce is our bard, and for those of you who have played a Fire Emblem game, his main application in combat is to use the ability Encore, which gives any of our other party members an extra turn. So we're going to go ahead and use that extra turn to let Verm do 2 actions in this round. Probably important to mention... Oh, let's look, watch how that goes. That's fine. Important to mention that party layout always stays the same, and you always go first in combat, and Verm will always be your first party member. So a lot of our... I'm going to defend here to get Rage back up. A lot of our boss fight setups are going to be very dependent on that exact order of operations. I'm going to give Verm an extra turn here so I can Rage again. Okay, that's fine. I think. We'll see.
Shaban does the least damage in this fight, so Shaban fainting or whatever isn't like the biggest deal, but it does mean that the nerve toxin will hit either Verm or Bruce, which is not great.
I think I need to play this a little careful, so I'm going to heal Verm so he doesn't die here from the double whip. Good call.
Wow, very good call.
Right. Okay. That fight can be a little scary, just because that nerve toxin ability makes one of your party members skip their next turn. Yeah. So I did need to take a little bit of a time loss there to heal Verm, but we are good, so moving on. And now we're
as I
entering
mentioned,
Merida proper.
Bruce's weapon is really cool. It's like a little hollowed out pencil to work like a little flute. Every time.
With entering Merida, Bruce decides to go on his own merry way. He's here for his own reasons. So, bye, Bruce. I'm sure we'll never see you again. Shaban is going to go off to the library, and we're going to go try to get an audience with the king. Yeah. I'm sure the king will love to hear from a random vagabond mouse. So, yeah. But while that's happening, Bruce is going to go up and do his own thing. So, and meet his boyfriend, Anton. Bruce and Anton here are actually planning a heist. We need to go talk around.
What creature is Anton?
I think he's like a vole, maybe?
Okay.
Maybe just another rat. I'm not quite sure. Talking to everybody around here, seeing if anyone wants to join us for our heist, and no one seems to want to do it. Except, hey, look, it's a thief. Bruce and Anton are after this artifact known as the Hebel of... I think it's the... I forget what the whole thing's called. Oh no, I haven't played this game casually in too long.
I don't remember the name of it either.
I'm gonna have to go research that later. But in the meantime, Shaban is in the library and meets this really sketchy rat. That was weird. But back to Verm.
A rat dressed as a plague doctor was not on my bingo card for today.
So, we're going to talk to the king here, and oh, wait, yeah, no, okay, yeah, they're not going to see us. So we're going to leave. for the Dark Souls fans in chat, I am pretty sure that that capybara in the suit of armor is supposed to be a reference to Smo of Ornstein and Smo fame. And yes, it's a capybara in a suit of armor. All right, there's a sketchy rat again. That was weird. Also, here's Bree and Stilton. Wow, by the way, their names are Bree and Stilton. That's great.
Sounds cheesy.
Oh no, Sal.
All right, these guys are pretty weak, so we're just gonna go ahead and cleave both of them. And get on our merry way. And then they're like, "Oh wait, actually, why are we fighting? We're not really like enemies anymore." So, like, yeah, they do give us our next lead to go to a place called Sky Garden to go meet with. Gonna probably butcher this a little bit. I remember looking it up to know how to pronounce, but they're gonna look up the Kalik, some sort of spiritual guide who lives in Sky Garden. Here's our sketchy rat. He actually has a name. His name is Plague Master Aquila. He used to be the Plague Master of the King, but because he looks kind of sketchy, everyone's kind of scared of him. So he was ousted from being part of like the King's Council. But Aquila has heard of this yellow god approaching and decides to go warn the king of this dire news. This is also where we meet the little rat there, Blade Master Leo, who used to be the hero that Verm looked up to, but as we'll see later, Leo is kind of an interesting foil to our Verm as a character. We have a little chat here, and then also at some point, Shaban's mother had a slight change of heart, but like not really. Sent a note to the king to be like, "Oh hey, my child has been kidnapped by a vagabond mouse. Help!" Even though Shaban is here willingly. So now we're also having Needle Knights sent after us, which is also the thing. But
also note that statue right there is ratless.
Yes. Actually, I think I need to go
canonically.
This way. Yes. We have to do a little bit of housekeeping here in Merida before we go on to our next adventure. We're gonna go grab some money here and then talk to this bat here. I'm gonna go buy a mushroom. We have an odd mushroom. I'll explain what it does a little later. But until then, we're gonna go in here. You remember that chest I opened at the start of the game? There was actually a treasure map in there. And we're gonna talk to this little girl here who can read, because we can't read. And she's going to mark her location on our map for a very special item. And with that, we are ready to leave. And then, oh, yeah, we got in. It's fine. I mentioned money. Money is not super important in this game, except for in two very specific cases, buying that mushroom, and a little later we'll be buying a second item. We'll be getting the money for that in a sequence coming up pretty quick. Otherwise, we don't need money because we only have many items. Before we go to Sky Garden, we're going to take a quick little detour over here. A place called Carriage Yard.
What did you say this part was a reference to again?
I think that this is also another Berserk reference. It's been a minute since I've read Berserk. I'm pretty sure that's the brand of sacrifice on the train right there. We're going to go ahead and grab this helmet. It's a cursed helmet. It gives us, I believe, plus 10 attack, which is the most attack that any item in the game will give, at the expense of minus defense. So it turns you into a glass cannon. It's very important for a lot of for all of our combat routing to come after this. Will be routed around having that helmet on, and it allows us to do some really cool things with some bosses.
It is the bottom half of the brand of sacrifice. Apparently, it's missing the 3 prongs at the top, but otherwise, yeah, looks like it.
I know how to reference this kind of. So, here we're back with Bruce and Anton. They're going to be doing a little dance performance for the occupiers of Sky Garden, the Gray Squirrels. While they're distracted, our friend Pocket will actually go in and steal the item that we're here for. Before we enter, though, Bruce did have to hide his tail under his costume for reasons. I feel like I'm being vague a lot. Trust me, I'll explain everything. It all makes sense. Yeah. This is Duke Josh. He sucks.
He sucks a lot.
We're going to put on a little dance performance for him, and I will kind of focus for this just because I do need to, do it well. It's not hard, but I have messed it up, and I had to redo it, so... So, yeah, we're going to play a little song here. Cute little song there. For playing that song perfectly, we do get showered with some money as a reward. That's the money that we're using to buy the only other item that we need in the run. While that's going on, Pocket is sneaking around, finding the actual item that we came here for. And he does find it, and then just kind of bails. But not before, alerting the guard here to our presence, which is a little lame. So, yeah, important question. Why is Bruce hiding his tail? Yeah, it turns out that the Gray Squirrels are a fascist invading force that have, killed most, if not almost, all of the Red Squirrels, except for one, Bruce here. That fact gets revealed here, and people are not happy. So, Bruce and Anton are being thrown in prison. Fun fact that I learned from commentating this game for Moonblaze Wolf earlier. Apparently, this dynamic between the gray squirrels and the red squirrels is based on real dynamics of gray squirrels and red squirrels in England. The gray squirrels are an invasive species that pushed out the red squirrels. So that gets adapted into this game as the gray squirrels being a fascist invading force, and the red squirrels being the ones being a target. Yeah, we're in prison now, and
we get to meet
our final party member,
our coolest
Gwen.
character.
Yeah. Siobhan is the best, but Gwen's the coolest.
Yes.
Gwen is in prison because she is a pansexual disaster rat who got in trouble for flirting with the right-hand woman of Duke Josh. Whomst amongst us hasn't had that happen to us?
A very normal everyday occurrence.
Yeah. We're going to do a quick little stealth mission here to go grab a key to free Gwen from her shackles. Gwen's actually fine, though. Gwen comes from a place called Whitehall, which we'll learn later is an animal research facility. An animal research lab. And they test on animals, and part of that testing means that Gwen has prosthetic feet. Prosthetic legs. And we go ahead and regain control of both of our characters here, and now we need to do a little bit more stealth to go get our weapons back. So we're going to go ahead and... I think you can skip to the left there. I just got a little scared for a second, so we're going to move on. And enter storage. I will slow down for this section just because it has one of my favorite jokes. Gwen gets her weapon back. It's a medical scalpel. You know, pretty cool, normal stuff. Bruce gets his weapon, a pencil flute. Gwen asks, "Is it like a gun flute or something?" And Bruce is like, "No, just a normal flute." And Bruce is like, "No, I'm a pacifist." And then Gwen replies with, like, "Is that a principal thing or like an ooh-woo soft boy thing?" Just, like, love that line. Before we continue, though, we're going to do some equipment management. Give Gwen the helmet. And we're going to do some level ups here. Going to flip the page on my notes, make sure I'm not losing track of something, and we're good. Okay, and moving on. So we get to see the power of the helmet that I got. It gives Gwen the ability to basically one-shot everybody. Yeah. We're going to go ahead and just stab this guy right here. And we're out.
Oh!
Yeah.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Gwen is our like anti-authoritarian in the party, and that manifests with one of her skill points being literally I don't think I can say the name of the skill, but it does give her increased damage against all guards. We're gonna go take the lift here. Bruce wants to free Anton, but Gwen is like, "Hey, we're like prison breaking right now. We're a little busy. We'll come back." Oh. I always run into that guy. Okay, it's fine.
I always forget that it's not like a scripted fight because you always run into that guy. But it's not much of a time loss. He just dies.
Yeah.
We get to showcase Gwen a little more.
Mm-hmm. Gwen, in like actual like combat capabilities, if you can tell by the way that she's dressed as just basically Freya from FF9, she is kind of our dragoon in the party, and her main functionality is to break the enemy's guard and attack, to lower their defenses and lower their attack. Got one more fight here.
It really gets me in this fight because you open with just stabbing one of them and he's gone. And then Bruce encores her and then you just stab the next one and he's gone. So it's kind of wild that the last one doesn't just go, "Hey, okay, you know what? I'm good."
This one's going to just bleed out. Yep. Cool. Before
he could have just not been stabbed.
Section, I need to unequip that because I have the knuckles. Okay. I do need to unequip that helm because we do need to put that on Verm here before we enter our next boss fight. Dizzy drops us off a distance away because, as he says, like Sky Garden has like anti-air like installations to like shoot off any invaders. We learn later that those are just fireworks that are just like on top of the tree that they launch at people. Yeah, we're going up here. We're going to talk to Josh for advice on where to find this K-Leak we keep hearing about.
Is that one squirrel to the left okay?
Yeah, he's fine.
We also do have
been lying there since Bruce and Anton were here.
Yeah,
sorry,
he's just taking a long nap. We do have someone wondering in chat if all encounters are scripted or if there's places where you can grind casually.
All encounters are scripted. There is no grinding because all skill points are awarded in story milestones. There are side quests that can award more skill points that are optional, but in terms of there is no grinding. So like we don't have to like go run around in the field to go kill a bunch of like bugs in the field and get experience, which makes it really nice for me for a speed run. Before I go into there, I need to make sure I equip some stuff. Yep. And then we need to do some level ups. Alright, now we're good. Going into our next boss fight here. This fight is really cool. It has a really cool quick kill setup. But before we can do that, we need to just go ahead and cleave this guy.
I do love Verm's line there, because the guy's like, unless you pay tribute, and Verm's like, alright, I'll pay tribute with my sword, and stabs him.
Also, on the point of fights being scripted, there is RNG in regards to where the enemies attack. They will randomly decide like who gets attacked, which can mess us up later in the run. I'll point that out. But in terms of like how much damage they deal, that is set. There's no RNG there, and there is also minimal RNG. Like most boss fights will progress down a certain pathway. Like they'll start with an attack and then do this certain special move and then do this special move and then attack again, so on. I'm going to go ahead and focus here to set this up. We're going to Rage on Verm. We're going to Worm Fire the squirrel here. Also, hi, is a robot dog. We're going to Shield Break the squirrel. Jam out of this song because it's like really good. We're going to Encore on Verm here. So this dog is weak to swords. Dog's gone. Squirrel tries to activate the dog, but the dog's dead. So we're just going to slash him a little bit. Worm Fire one more time. And we're out.
Yeah, that fight there really shows how wild it can be when you have Berserk and Cleave up and you just hit 4 times for a ton.
Enemies do have different enemies do have different like resists and weakness types. For the most part, it's not super relevant for us. It was relevant during the fight against the cat because the cat's weak to fire. Do remember, everybody, cats are weak to fire. This will be on the test. And it's also important there for that robot dog fight because that's what lets us kill the robot dog in one cleave.
I love this bit here.
This is Blade Master Lamia, by the way. Yeah. The only thing wrong with Blade Master Lamia is that she's like working with the fascist gray squirrels. There's nothing else wrong with her. She's pretty normal otherwise. So we managed to escape Skygarden. Bruce isn't doing too well because we had to leave Anton there. But we must continue on our quest to go find the Ashen Tower. Yeah, a bit more dialogue to go through here. No. Most of the dialogue choices in the run do not matter. Some might be faster or slower than others. Except for one dialogue option coming up really soon. The most important dialogue option in the game, because if I choose the wrong option, I get thrown into a fight that I don't know how to do. It's actually not as scary as it sounds, just because my turbo button I have mapped to B, so I will automatically like select the right option. But first, we're going through this little maze here. It's a Lost Woods section. You can like follow like the pathway of the leaves, and it will point you where you need to go. But like we're fine, we know where we're going. But halfway through it, our party does get split up. And you meet up with one of the Needle Knights here. very important here that I say no and no. One of the times when I was learning this run, I accidentally said yes, and I got put into a fight that I did not know how to win, and I lost the run because I did not have a safety save backup. So, yeah, fun stuff. This fight, I can't skip, so we're just going to go ahead and do this real quick.
That's okay, because it's Verm and Gwen.
I don't think a rage... I think a rage is necessary here, so we're going to go ahead and shield break. So the Helm does give us a defense drop, but for the most part, fights do not last long enough for it to matter for us. So we're just going to cleave here, and the fight's going to be over. And we're just going to move on. And join back up with our party. I hope y'all remembered what I said about cats, because the test is coming up.
I think chat remembers.
Yeah. Talk with this snake here. He's a pretty chill snake.
I like the snake's
he
hat.
just wants a fun fact, and we're going to tell him that cats are, chat, say it with me, cats are flammable. And the snake goes, isn't everyone kind of weak to being set on fire? And like, Brev's like, well, yeah, but like, cats are like really weak to being set on fire. And that's fun fact is enough for him to give us a potion. This potion's important. It's called the Zip Zap potion. It functions basically like Bruce's Encore in that it gives whoever drinks it an extra turn. This is important because we can give it to Verm, who acts first and can give anyone in the party an additional turn. But before that, we have this fight here. It's scripted, and we can lose it, which is really nice.
It's actually faster to lose the fight.
I mashed too close to the sun. Okay, that's fine.
She healed, no.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just gonna last a little longer. But yeah, we're going to just... Bruce now has the ability to whack people with his flute. He is angry at Pocket here because he left Bruce and Anton to die. Oh, that's not what we wanted. So we're getting out some regression here. It's technically perfect RNG if I accidentally hit the wrong like dummy there, because then the fight ends a lot sooner. But like, it's fine. The fight's gonna end right here. Yeah, we are allowed to lose that, and thank goodness we can, because winning that fight takes forever. But we are good, and we're going to head over to the Ashen Tower. There will be some dialogue about this later, but to cut the long story short, it's revealed that the Sky Garden that we went to is not the original Sky Garden. This is the original Sky Garden. This was the home of Clan Red, Bruce's clan of Red Squirrels. One day, Duke Josh approached the K-League for a prophecy, because the K-League is the spiritual leader of the Red Squirrels, and received a prophecy that he didn't like. A prophecy that a group of 4 adventurers were going to come and depose him and take his kingdom. And he didn't like that. So Duke Josh set fire to the Ashen Tower, set fire to Sky Garden, and these spirits that we are running past, these are the spirits of Clan Red, who were in the tower when it caught on fire. Go ahead and get the top here. Shaban's going to learn a very important ability here called Spread Fire, which lets them attack every enemy in the fight. We'll show that off in just a second, and before we have to do some menuing.
The fight coming up has some of my favorite music in the game. However, we're not going to really get to hear it because of spread fire, and you'll see that coming up soon.
Yup. All right, we're gonna go ahead and. All right. I will slow down for this after this section here. This is the section where Josh reveals what I just told you about the prophecy and setting fire to the Sky Garden. Yeah, Duke Josh sucks. Yeah, this is the point in the run where Shaban basically comes online, and this is probably a good time to explain what overclock is. Overclock is a ability and also a status that Shaban can receive that doubles the damage of their next fire attack. It stacks I don't know if it stacks infinitely, but it stacks quite high and can deal a lot of damage. We'll be using that
stacks
overclock
high enough
in
that we don't know
conjunction.
if it stacks infinitely.
Yeah, you don't really need to. We're going to step forward here. I'm going to continue my explanation in just a second. This is one of my favorite dialogue exchanges. We'll slow down for this as well. So we approach who we think is the K-Leak, but the K-Leak is not here anymore. Only ashes remain. Turns out these are actually Nightwings, which... I clicked the wrong one. Damn. To summarize the dialogue exchange that I wanted to click, Verm can ask about his brother, and let's firstly get to this. We're going to just give the mushroom to Shaban and spread fire. Whee! The owls are gone. The mushroom gives the rage status. The mushroom gives the rage status to whoever consumes it, which is the same as Verm's rage status, in that it gives double damage to whoever consumes it. In conjunction with Overclock, which also gives double damage, that lets Shaban wipe out those owls in one hit. We'll be using that quite a lot in later runs.
That's what I mean by you don't get to hear the music for very long in that fight.
Yeah. The little story moment, just Verm can ask the owls about his brother Lance. And it's like we've been seeing it in bits and pieces here and there.
He asks if Lance forgives him.
Yeah, and the owls basically say that forgiveness is for the living, and like it's up to us who are the living to carry on that burden. And Verm just replies with, "It still hurts." And the owls go, and I just like that moment because it just shows just how, like, again, I hear too, whenever Verm tries to like flee from something just because he's fed up with it or whatever, he still hears that echo of the Yellow God's footsteps in his mind. He still carries that burden. He still carries that trauma with him. And that's what drives him forward. That's what drives him to keep doing good things, because that's what like stops him in his tracks and goes like, "No, I'm not running away from this." And we're going to go ahead and talk to Bruce here. We're not going to run away from this. In fact, we're going to confront Duke Josh head on. We'll see what that means in just a second. Because you're like, well, wait, don't they have like anti-air? It's like invading this place would be like impossible, right? We steal the owls. And also, our friend Pocket, he feels guilty for leaving Bruce and Anton behind, so he's also going to like sneak into the jail and cause a prison break. So, things are about to get real. Because Anton's like, well, you freed me. He's like, free everyone else too. And Pocket's like, actually, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. Prepare for like one of the coolest screens to ever be depicted in a video game.
So awesome.
Love this game.
That
It's so
was
cool. Oh no, Shaban.
Yeah, you get the cool scene, and then Shaban squeak.
Okay, so we have these waves of enemies here. I'm going to go ahead and give the potion to Shaban. Cool thing in this game, the consumable items are not consumable. They recharge after every combat encounter. We're going to go ahead and spread fire here. Whee! Get another wave of enemies here. Going to go ahead and I think we wanted to try defending here. And then we're going to go ahead and shield break one of these guys. And then we're going to go ahead and encore Shaban, who is going to spread fire. I don't think this will kill, but it will deal a good amount. We're going to go ahead and cleave one of them. Just defend here. I think there's a faster way to get through this. That's just kind of a thing I made up on top of my head. The rest of the residents of Sky Garden are also fed up with Duke Josh, so they're going to join us in the uprising. It's cool. They also give us the opening we need to go ahead and make our way up to Duke Josh. But first, we need to contend with Hank here. Hank has a giant toy gun. We're not scared of it. We're going to give that mushroom to Shaban again. Spread fire. Shield break. And we're out. Alright. That was a lot of talking in a short amount of time, but I do get a little bit. Important thing here. I need to let Shaban blast this guy out the window. Why is that important? Shaban levels up for blasting a fascist squirrel out the window. This game is the best. Okay. Equip. I think our equipment is fine. We're going to do some skill management, though.
So this next fight coming up is another very difficult fight. If we get the quick kill, it's easy peasy. However, if we don't get the quick kill, it can be a little tricky. So that's why we're making a safety save.
Yes, this is a safety save because this fight can go wrong. Important thing here is we would like to not see Shaban get hit. I'll explain why in just a second, but I do need to focus for the setup here. Okay, item. Potion to Shaban. We're going to use the overclock ability to give Shaban a stack of overclock. We're going to do that twice. So Shaban will now be at 3 stacks of overclock. We're going to sword break on Lamia to reduce the damage that she deals. We're going to encore Shaban to give her an extra turn. Give them extra turn that we're going to use to overclock to 4 stacks. Lamia will attack. Cool. That's what we want to see.
Not Shaban. Excellent.
We're going to mushroom on Shaban. We're going to do 1 more stack of overclock here. We're going to shield break Lamia to lower her defenses. We're going to encore on Shaban. And then we are going to end
Shaban to be full health is because when Shaban is full health, they do more damage.
I'm just going to go ahead and cleave here and be out of here. Woo! Okay. Yeah, as Mia was saying, Shaban has a skill that gives them a boost to damage when they're at full health. We use that boost to damage in our calculations to make sure that we can quick kill that boss in as fast as we saw it there. If we don't, there is recovery for it. The big thing is that we don't want to see. We want to avoid seeing Lamia's second phase. It's a whole thing. It's kind of cool and terrifying. I won't spoil it because this game's great and you should play it. But yeah.
I will say that the music for Phase 2 is really good. It's a shame we don't get to hear it.
We have a long story section coming up here. You confront Duke Josh. Duke Josh is like, I'm not losing to y'all. I quit. And he jumps off the tree and breaks his leg. This feels like a good time to mention that Lamia isn't like really loyal to Duke Josh. Lamia only works for Duke Josh as long as Duke Josh can provide Lamia with food, i.e., other rodents. And now that Duke Josh can't provide that anymore, yeah.
Well, he provided it one more time.
Yeah. With that, now there's no one leading Sky Garden. And normally that would fall upon the last remaining member of Clan Red, Bruce, here to take control. But Bruce is like, you know what? We don't need absolute monarchies anymore. That's out of date. So we'll see a little bit later, but he's going to convert Sky Garden into a super gay friendly like council that rules over the city. It rules like it's just everyone has a say. It's great. But in the
As
meantime,
Berm said, the old way's dead.
the old way is dead. Um, Gwen's going to stay behind with Bruce to like help like build that back up. And meanwhile, we're gonna go back to Merida to investigate our next lead. And because we have a long story section coming up, I'm gonna take some water. Chat, make sure you stay hydrated. This is the moment when like the advisor to Duke Josh comes up and go like, hey, yeah, these like 4 adventurers came up and like overthrew Sky Garden and Duke Josh is gone. And nobody liked Duke Josh, not even the king, but like still like this like the symbolism
Change
of
is
that
scary.
like change is scary to the people in power. Even though nobody liked Duke Josh, this still scares the king. And Leo goes off to confront Verm, which we'll see the results of that in just a minute. Yeah, Leo. I'll talk more about him later, but Leo is an interesting character. I mentioned earlier that he kind of serves as our foil to Verm. There'll be his dialogue session coming up here as we confront Leo on the bridge, where he basically confirms that, like, Leo sees in Verm that fire that he used to have in his heart. And unlike Verm, who is letting that fire, like, lead him towards good things, like, changing the world for the better, Leo instead chose to just, like, snuff out that flame and just conform. He joined up with the king.
Leo's afraid
Does
of
whatever
being
he
different.
wants. Yeah, Leo's afraid of change, afraid of being different. This is a scripted fight, so we're going to go ahead and just smash through it. Another content warning for violence towards animals coming up. It's a really quick moment, but yeah. I wasn't too different from that mouse when I was first knighted. I blazed with righteous anger. I drew my sword at any injustice, big or small. But I quickly learned that unchecked rebellion only burns those around us. Better to stamp out the spark while it's young, before it can engulf a whole kingdom in flames. So, this is the end of our like second kind of like section here. We're gonna have a bit of a time skip coming up after this. Shaban is being like kind of like okay. Shaban is being kind of brought under the tutelage of that sketchy rat we saw earlier, Plague Master Aquila. So, who's Aquila, who has been brought back under the arm of the king after warning him about the Yellow God, and the king going like, "Hey, that sounds really scary. Come back, help us out with that." So here we are now. If you like, it's the funny thing about this game being about like rodents is like rodents don't have a very long lifespan. So like normally a time skip in a video game would be like several years. In this game, it's like several months. Got this little section here. It's got a little funny gag that he Aquila tells us to grab the screwdriver on the left. If you actually go to the one on the left, he's like, "No, the other left." Sorry. And then he goes, "The screwdriver on the right, please." And if you take that chain of logic and you go to the one on the left, he goes, "No, the actual right, please." And I'm like, well, okay.
That's a good bit.
Yeah. This whole section is just like revealing that like Aquila like is just one of those types that's like trying to like solve the problem of rodents having a short lifespan. He's created this little like android mouse here, but he's like, actually, this is just a robot. Destroy it, please. So we're gonna do that. With that, Aquila here is talking about he has some sort of contingency plan in place for the Yellow God. Something that he wants to show Shaban, but before he does, he lets Shaban go to have like one day, like, hey, go out, like tie up any loose ends you want before you come see this. And so we're gonna leave.
Which isn't ominous at all, really.
No, not ominous at all. Before we exit the palace, we do need to get this little thing over here. Behind this portrait here is a key. That key is missable, and will be important later, so yeah.
If I remember right, all the portraits on the walls are Kickstarter backers or something?
Yes, this game was a Kickstarter project, so a lot of those like there's a room with like even more portraits, and I believe they are all Kickstarter backers who paid for a certain tier to have like their little character represented in game. I think that's cool.
Shoutouts to indie devs.
Yeah.
We do love indie devs here.
So now that we have control of Shaban, we're going to go on a little adventure, and we're going to go check in on our friends. See how they're doing. Hey, Dizzy. So, yeah, as I mentioned, Gwen and Bruce have been doing some heavy rebuilding of Sky Garden, shaping it into what they want it to be. And you could tell it's a lot more gay because it's all covered in rainbows and flowers. And that's great. So we're going to go up here and check in on our friends. In our absence, Bruce and Gwen have mostly been focused on trying to find leads on Verm, because they had also heard what happened and trying to find where he went. The only clue that they have is this rusted sword that they dug out of the river. But strangely enough, no Verm. Shaban reveals that they know how to fix this sword, how to clean it up. But they need access to what's called a God Torch, and Gwen knows just the place to get one. Meanwhile, Bruce also has a bit of a lead to maybe find a ghost that has been, like, making a name for himself in the town of Vinium. Yeah. So we're gonna split the party for a bit and go on a bit of an adventure. But first, we need to go walk back over to Dizzy. So our first stop is going to be Whitehall, Gwen's old home. I'm gonna flip this pages on my. So I mentioned this earlier, but yeah, Whitehall is a research facility that used to do testing on animals. Used to being the key word here. During this section here, it's gonna be a lot of just like platforming and avoiding monsters that we don't need to fight. If we do run into a fight, again, it's not a big deal. Siobhan is really overpowered, so we can just like blast through it. But we're trying to avoid as much fights as we can. And as we do, we're going to be learning a lot of backstory about Gwen in particular. Gwen used to be one of the residents of Whitehall, used to be one of the animals that were tested on. Gwen also tells us about this funny little character named Sir George. Okay, that's fine. Optional fights. Woo. Spread fire. Goodbye.
That snail looks very concerned, and rightfully so.
Yeah, rightfully so.
Yeah, we are introduced. Oh, okay. We're introduced to this character named Sir George, like the caretaker of the animals of Whitehall, and also Gwen's ex-boyfriend. We'll talk to him a bit in a little bit later once we get out of these sewers. But long story short, Gwen used to be a resident here. Did not like how the gods treated the animals in the facility, and one day decided to bite back. Literally, like bite one of the doctors that worked there, and caused a bit of a ruckus, and was able to escape. And that's the last that she knows of what happened at Whitehall. Gwen is of the mind that the gods are not all powerful, and the gods actually kind of suck. They just take what they want and have no regard for what they do, and how they hurt people, how they hurt rodents. Meanwhile, we have Sir George, who's another one of those forces of stagnancy, of conforming to the old ways. And Sir George believes that the gods do what they do for a reason, and that we should just be cool with that, I guess. Also,
By the way, right there is the only point in the game where Siobhan will do the fall and not squeak, because Siobhan's wet and it does a splat instead.
Yeah. So we're going to go ahead and climb up here. And yeah, this is where it's revealed that at some point after Gwen had escaped, the animal research arm of this facility was closed, and all of the animals are gone. All of the animals except for our boy George here. Gwen's not happy with George, and in particular wants to know where everyone went. And yeah, we're gonna have a little bit of a combat section here. We're gonna open with a shield break to lower our defenses. He's gonna do the same to us. We're going to do a sword break to lower the damage we're taking. This is kind of a scripted fight, though we do not have the helmet equipped, notably, because if we did, we would die, and we don't want to die. That's not good. This is going to look a lot scarier than it actually is, because we're going to get pretty low on health. But this final attack here will be our clear.
Yeah. George is kind of like, sometimes the gods give, sometimes the gods take away. And he's kind of just passive about the whole thing.
Yeah. Gwen refuses that answer. Gwen doesn't like the gods. Gwen actively fights the gods. George is a bit resigned to his fate here, decides to stay at Whitehall, but he does decide to help us out and give us that god torch that we need to restore the blade. So, we're done with that section, and we're back with Bruce. We're going to go hang out in a place called Vinium. I like Vinium because it's actually a toy store. Like an abandoned Toys R Us. All the buildings are Legos. It's great. This important thing here is that we are going to take a quick little detour. Remember that money I mentioned earlier? This is the last item we're going to buy. A Scootum. It's a shield. It gives us some extra defense. Defense that is helpful for just getting us a little bit more survivability in these fights to come. Because like Vinium is like styled after like a Roman like society. Like the guy like the leader here is like enslaved these rodents to grow mushrooms. I guess not quotes, it just is. But one of the rodents here that is working here is our Verm. He's decided to retire the life of revenge and just become a humble mushroom farmer. Oh, I mean, right, I get control there. Bruce is like, you know what? I love that for you.
Yeah. However,
but yeah, the guy we talked to earlier is like, a red squirrel. Those are pretty rare. Decides to kidnap Bruce and toss him into the arena because, like, excitement, I guess. And Vern is like, okay, fine. When he hears that Bruce might be in trouble. So we're going to go ahead and equip the helmet, the knuckles, and the shield. And then we're going to do a level up here. And head out. Another quick little content warning for realistic depictions of insects. If you are sensitive to like scorpions, like pretty realistic looking scorpions, I'll let you know when this section ends. But you might be wondering, Verm, how are you going to fight without a weapon? You'll see in just a second.
I love this part so much.
So we grab a Lego brick from the Colosseum, and we're going to beat up a scorpion with it. Nope.
I love that it does like the sword unsheathing sound still. It's just a piece of Lego.
Notably, we just acquired a skill for Verm that doubles his damage on the last hit of any attack string, and because Verm is doing 11 damage per hit now, because of the helmet, that last hit now deals 22 damage, which is a wild amount. So it lets us one-shot these scorpions with one cleave. We're going to go ahead and encore here. And while this is going, just one of the things I like about this whole sequence is like it takes that cliche moment of like, oh, I was on that quest for revenge and I decided it was all silly and I'm gonna just retire to be a humble farmer. That all happens off screen, and then gets kind of thrown out immediately because like
Yeah, he
Verm
doesn't
decides
throw
what's
away his
actually
morals.
important. Yeah, he doesn't just throw away his morals just because like he's calmed down a little bit. He still loves his friends. He still wants to protect them. So when he hears that his friend is in trouble, he's like, "Well, okay, here we go," and rushes straight back into action. And I just really love that about Verm. Like, his character arc isn't, like, learning to stop being angry. Like, he will never unlearn the ability Rage. He doesn't stop being angry, he just learns to wield that anger towards the right things. The systems that hurt us, not just, like, lashing out at whatever's nearby. Meanwhile, it's Chariot Tuesday. We have our next boss fight here. This one's really funny. Everyone, please pay attention to Bruce and Tiny Car.
He's so focused on driving. Look at him, he's locked in.
Oh, this is incredible.
Also, this song, like, rules.
F-Zero!
This is gonna look a lot scarier than it is.
Up. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you go.
When threepup has her splits up, this split is called F-Zero.
So that fight's over. Vermin can deal a lot of damage. So that was Chariot Tuesday. We approached the like ruler of Vinium and and Vermin's like, yeah, I'm just like some mouse, and Bruce is like, yeah, I'm a foreign dignitary from Skygarden. And that shocks the leader because, yeah, that's kind of an act of war. So the guy who kidnapped Bruce gets punished, and the ruler's like, hey, yeah, sorry about the whole business. Here's the keys to a house. And Verm is like, that's cool and all, but also, can you just, like, give the farm to the workers that actually do all the work? And he's like, oh, yeah, sure, why not?
Which is great. I'm glad they have that response.
Yeah. And we're going to go ahead and leave. Except not really, because, hey, look. They're friends. This will be another section. This is actually my favorite section of the game is coming up. So I will slow down the dialogue again for that. But we get our introduction back to the rest of our party, and everyone's back together again. But first, they have two surprises for Verm. The first of which is his sword restored. Nice, familiar green color. For this next one, I will slow down the dialogue here. Another reason why I love this game so much is its depiction of disability. Verm is disabled. He does not have his tail. He lost it in the opening of the game. Gwen is also disabled, does not have her legs. And Gwen here is just, like, bestowing him a gift of a prosthetic tail. And Verm is just like, all my life I've been struggling. I'm used to it. I feel like I deserve to struggle or something. That I'm better for it. And that's a...
Gwen did open with saying that he doesn't have to take it if he doesn't want to.
Yeah. Verm goes, you know what? That idea is stupid and exhausting. I'm tired of struggling. So he's like, yeah, I'll give it a shot. But yeah, as Mia mentioned, it's like she does present it with like the option of like, hey, like not everyone wants to use these, but like it helps me, so I have the option for you as well. And yeah, Verm now has a cool tail with a spike at the end. And with that, we are ready to basically head into endgame. We have a bit of cleanup before then, and before we hit our point of no return, but we are basic at the end of the game now. For those of you watching who are interested, there is still a bunch more content in this game. A bunch of side quests that are really cool, a bunch of like secret bosses and stuff. I do really recommend playing it. It's a lot of fun. Also just a really just like important and impactful story that I love quite a lot.
I'm gonna take a moment to pull something from the chat from a while ago. Do you remember when we were taking back Sky Garden and the bystanders, the villagers, etc., came in and started helping? One of them was a bat with a guitar. Tell us more about that bat.
That is Violet the Screeching Creature. She's great. You do actually get to see her a bit more in some side quests. If you go back to Sky Garden, there's a whole side quest with Bruce that's actually also quite nice. But yeah, she's great. Here we're taking a little side path. Remember that key we picked up earlier? It has a side path here that gives us the Mystery Wand, which is, you know how in RPG every character usually has like an ultimate weapon? That is Shaban's ultimate weapon. Also missable. So, here you go. Before we do anything, we're going to do some equipment management here.
Verm's ultimate weapon is the Reforged Blade, and Shaban's is that lighter. Shaban's ultimate weapon is the only ultimate weapon that is missable that we actually get. Both Gwen and Bruce have theirs elsewhere, and we don't get them in this speed run.
Yeah.
There's a lot of side quests, though. It's very cool. This game has a lot to it.
Sounds like people should go play it themselves.
Yeah. I just realized that that mouse is fishing in a pop can in the last screen.
Yeah. This game has a fishing minigame, by the way, for those of you who are fans of fishing minigames.
Fishing minigame. You have spoken my language.
Shaban has left the party to go back to Aquila, and Bruce has left the party for reasons. The reason actually being that he's trying to push Verm and Gwen together. So we're gonna go take Gwen on a tour of the city. We're first gonna take Gwen to the palace. Gwen takes one look at it and goes like, "This place sucks," and Verm's like, "Yeah, it does." So we're going to leave. And then we're going to go to over here, where Verm's going to tell Gwen about the time that they went to the sewers and fought a kraken. And Gwen's like, "No, stop making stuff up." I'm like, "No, we did it." And then another one of my favorite sections over here. We're going to enter the merchant quarter, and we're going to go get a cup of coffee. And turns out Gwen has a blue mohawk the whole time. She's so cool. I will slow down this one too, just for reasons.
Gwen is the coolest, not just because she's badass.
Yeah, we got a matcha latte. Verm says it tastes green, and Gwen doesn't know what that means. I don't know what that means either. Apparently, sweet foods taste blue and sour foods taste red. Verm can taste colors.
Apparently this is a real thing. There are some folks who associate colors with taste, and I don't know much about it, but yeah, it's a real thing. It's interesting.
Well, the important thing here that I slowed down is like Gwen asks Verm a question here. "You like boys or girls?" And Verm goes, "I've never given it much thought. I spent half my life focused on killing the Yellow God. I didn't have room for the lovey-dovey stuff. But even when I had time to think in Vinium, I just got fixated on farming mushrooms." Is that odd? Gwen just like, "No, I've been through a lot. Maybe when this is all over,
do you like men or
take some time
women?
for yourself."
I like revenge.
And Verm just goes, "I don't know if I'll ever like anyone in that way." And then Gwen just goes, "Follow your own path. I'm good at that." And yeah. That's just another section I like. When I mentioned earlier that there's some inklings that Verm might be some flavor of Ace, that was the moment. Just another moment I like, just like, maybe I'll change my mind one day, maybe I won't, but what's important is to follow your own path. And I think that's just a really sweet message.
Also, oh no, you kicked their ball. They were playing ball and you kicked it.
We do have someone in chat saying that color taste association is a form of synesthesia.
Yes, thank you. That's the name.
This game's very diverse and sweet and has just lots of good and powerful messages. So I'm gonna keep saying it again, but yeah, please play it. It's great. I think on Steam normally it's like $15. Pretty good.
It goes
Deal
on
for
sale
what
pretty
it
often
is.
as well, right?
It looks like it's
I think
about
so.
20 USD, but that's very
20.
reasonable.
Okay, cool. For a game of this quality, of this like incredible, gorgeous sprite work, we haven't really mentioned it, but the game looks pretty.
Yeah. Also support indie devs.
Yeah. Hey, we're back with Shaban. We're going back to Aquila, where he's going to show us this Excalibur, some kind of weapon or something that he has back in his like secret underground lair to fight against the Yellow God.
I love that when Aquila asked Shaban what they were up to, you had the option of saying seeing friends, and you chose doing mole stuff.
Yeah, Aquila will like know that you're lying, and he just goes like, "I know you're seeing your friends." So, like, I don't care, whatever. No, I don't know how the elevator works here. I don't know why like landing in it makes it automatically go up. We're not going to ask those questions. So, yeah, Aquila is taking us to his secret lair over here, and we're going to learn the truth of Excalibur. Push this big red button over here. The truth of Excalibur is that it is an undetonated, what's called fire egg in the rodent kingdoms, but to us, it's an undetonated warhead. Some war in the gods' past has left this undetonated warhead in the hands of this rat. He has created this launching mechanism to launch it straight into the heart of Merida, wiping out everything there, including the Yellow God. And Shaban asks the question like, "Hey, like that will kill everyone in Merida. Like, do you have any problems with that?" And this is where like Aquila's philosophy is revealed that like he's just got that nihilistic attitude of just like hating everything. He hates the royalty because they're a bunch of useless idiots. He hates like the common folk because they all just like he hates everything. And Shaban again, best character. Shaban hears all this stuff and just like, all right, I'm out. Not even a dialogue choice.
Screw this.
Like,
Oh, thanks.
yeah, Shaban hears all this like stuff, and it's just like, you know, I'm out of here. See you. Get a new assistant. Shaban goes straight to their friends, and brings the news of what Excalibur is, and everyone's like, "Whoa, that's messed up. We should probably do something about that." And our plot here is to march on the palace. So we're going to talk to our friend here and start the point of no return.
We're in the final sequence of the game, everybody.
Yeah. So the news is being broken to the king that there's an uprising like being formed to like march on the palace, and just like with any other ruling force that hears any sort of dissent coming their way, they decide to raise a disproportionate amount of opposition for what is actually just 6 rodents who have some strong weird letters to deliver.
In their defense, those 6 rodents can pretty much take on all of that, so
Yeah. So the guards do approach, and we're going to fight our way out. We have a couple of waves of enemies here, and we don't care about them because Shaban should blast them away in one hit. I'm going to go ahead and keep on marching here.
Once again, the music of this game is really good.
The music in this game is really good. One of my favorite things about this sequence is that the guards have created like a barricade out of colored pencils. And we're like, well, okay.
Yeah, the world building in this game is incredible. All the little attention to detail. It's great.
Hmm. Come on. Also, for those of you who are seeing this and like, this could be a cool game to pick up as a speedrun. This is actually a very friendly speedrun to learn. It's an RPG that you can run in under 2 hours, which is like always a big thing. This is my first RPG run I've ever picked up. Like, kind of. I also play Kingdom Hearts 2 Randomizer, but like, yeah.
Also,
this is like my first like
Steam,
typical RPG.
You can just turn on the turbo, which is really nice. There's no special things to do that.
On that note, though, I did around AGDQ time, the dev of this game did reveal that a Switch version is on the way and should be launching soon. So for those of you who prefer to play on Switch, that is also an option. Alright, we're going to march on forward here. But yeah, this is a very, like, low-ish RNG for an RPG speedrun. No grinding. Our leaderboard does support turbo, like, so if you, like, for accessibility, if you don't want to just keep mashing a button over and over again. I don't need that accessibility, but, like, for me, I don't want to hurt my hands unnecessarily, so I use turbo. Yeah. And
accessibility doesn't only have to be when there's like a glaring disability. Accessibility can be for everyone.
Yeah.
That's kind of the point of making accessibility in the first place. It's helping more people enjoy things, helping more people be able to access things.
There's not an official guide posted on the SRC board, but I know that if you ask me or if you ask Moonblaze Wolf, another runner of this game, for some notes, we will be happy to send them to you because we want more runners of this game. This game's great. I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of equipment management here before we... Yeah, we need to go ahead and give Verm the helmet. And then enter the tunnel here. As we enter the palace, Leo reaches a certain critical point. The king reveals that he has no intention of like sticking around. He had a secret tunnel built that will let him escape before the bomb goes off. So he's just gonna get out. And this is the moment where Leo finally like kind of snaps. This is where like he says just like I've just been so stupid. Like he's been like giving so much for this king who has no regard for anyone underneath him. So Leo takes matters into his own paws. I love the king here because he just goes, "You're the worst."
Yeah, those are his final words. You're the worst.
This leaves Leo here to confront everyone who's left. While that's going on, we're breaking into the palace. Some more of the portraits I mentioned, and Verm is going to go off to confront the king, who he thinks is still alive. We know that things aren't going so great for him. And the rest of the party is going to go and confront Aquila and Excalibur. So we're going to go ahead and march over to the secret lab area. This is my favorite song in the game coming up. Sadly, we do not get to listen to a lot of it. So once again, please play this game casually. It's great. This fight's cool. The soundtrack is incredible. Alrighty. So we do have another very particular boss fight setup coming up, so I will focus again for it. This is another one of those fights that we can manipulate and kind of end the fight before it starts, which is really cool. Aquila admits here that he cannot defeat the three of us, but all he needs to do is buy some time. Revealing that Aquila was actually buff the whole time. Greatest reveal in video games. We're gonna go ahead and overclock. Shield break. Going to encore spawn, giving them an extra turn. We're going to overclock again. Aquila will summon a robot. We don't care. We're going to overclock again to 4.
Does small Saga have a rando?
I don't think so. That'd be cool though.
Yeah.
Sounds like someone should develop one then.
Let's talk about the Anthropocene era. The current rate of species extinction is 1,000 times the background rate.
Oh, I forgot to do a level up there. That's fine.
Didn't seem to stop you.
Yeah. Just like gave extra turn.
You'll get to do it
clear
before the
things out.
final boss.
Yeah. So now that Aquila is dealt with, we need to deal with Excalibur here. There's no way to stop the bomb. It will detonate. But what we can do is disable the launching mechanism. Alrighty. You want to make sure. Okay. Worm does not have me. That was. Okay.
Are we missing a level up on
I
Verm?
feel like we're missing something, so I'm gonna take a safety save here just in case. This should still work out, but in case it doesn't, I have backup. We are going to confront Blade Master Leo. As we see the aftermath of the fight that happened here. Things happened. Things went down. Despite like his slight change of heart, Leo still doesn't like what Verm represents. Verm represents the unknown. Like Leo doesn't know what will happen when like the kingdom isn't there anymore. Whatever will come after. Like that unknown scares him. So he's still gonna put one last effort in to stop Verm. We don't think we can still just cleave here, right? Yeah. Normally, you're supposed to use that new Nimblefoot ability that we gained when we got our tail. Turns out we don't really need to. We deal enough damage, we can just cleave Leo at the start, and the fight's over. Our rest of our friends run up with us, and we're going to do one last little bit of menuing to prepare for the final fight. We need to give unequip that, mushroom, and then skills. We're going to go ahead and there. Shaban's going to go ahead and go there. I'm going to flip my notes over, and we're done with level ups. I'm going to do our last bit of safety saving here. This final fight coming up is the worst bit of RNG in the run, so I will do a safety save here. Things can go bad enough that I might need to reset. We're going to hope that we don't need to.
For future speedrun stuff, it looks like the last level up you put in Shaban is health. So we kind of bank on Shaban not taking any damage in the final fight anyway. You could probably just skip Shaban's level up for speed.
This is true. Good to keep in mind. So yeah, this is the final section. We began in heaven, and we're going to end our run in hell.
They do such a good job with the artwork in this place. It's so cool.
This whole sequence is so cool. The slow march towards the center of the room. Just the way that this place looks. Like, it just looks wrong. Like, this looks more like an environment you'd see in a horror game than like in a RPG starring mice. But yeah, we're going to enter our final boss here. This is a 3-phase fight. The first phase is against this smoke machine. We're going to go ahead here and open up with a rage from Verm. This smoke machine has very heavy damage resistance. Most of our attacks will not do anything against it, so we're going to just soften it up as much as we can here, and then Bruce is going to encore Verm and cleave it, which should kill, I believe. Yes, it does. And we're out of that. We're entering into second phase here. The Yellow God approaches.
Second phase is pretty quick, but the final phase is where RNG is very scary.
Shaban asks Verm, "Are you okay?" Verm's replies, "No, I'm not okay. I'm not running." So, yeah, as Mia mentioned, this second phase isn't really a real phase. We're going to fight against the feet of the Yellow God. We're just going to defend on Verm here and do a quick little spread fire against the feet, which will deal enough damage to progress us to the next. That's a little unsettling. Okay, that's fine. I think that's fine. Cool. Alright, this is the point where we need to check out for RNG. Basically, the gist of it is we do not want to see Shaban get hit. I'm going to give a potion to Shaban. I'm going to overclock twice to 3 stacks. I'm going to do a shield break on the left arm there. I'm going to encore Shaban again. And we're going to overclock to 4. We're going to hope for a no-hit on Shaban. Okay.
That's
I'm going to attempt this back up here. I'm going to attempt my first backup here, which will be to probably... I think we'll set up Rage now, I think. We're going to overclock again here. We're going to shield break the right hand. Because Shaban got hit here, we need to now take on a second bit of RNG here and hope that Shaban doesn't get yoinked. If Shaban gets yoinked here, then we need to reset.
Okay, no yoinking. Right?
It's also not what we wanted to see, but we're going to see if we can salvage it. No.
Oh, right, because we raged on Verm, so we actually needed Verm to attack.
Verm needs to give Shaban the mushroom.
Gotcha.
We're going to still see how this goes before I reset. I think that was enough damage that we're going to be fine. Woo! Maybe not.
That's still a lot of health.
We'll see if we can save this.
Probably want to buff Shaban up some more again.
That's fine. That's less fine. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and reset here, I think.
So there's a 1 in 4 chance that Shaban is the one who gets hit on that first turn. And it seems to happen pretty often. Is it 1 in 4 or 2 in 4? Because 2 in 4 makes more sense, but I don't remember how many of the hands actually attack on that first turn.
That first hit is a 1 in 4. If we get hit then it's a 2 in 4 for the run to continue, because we want neither Verm nor Shaban can get grabbed. Going to look here. Things look to be still good. I'm just going to go ahead.
This is why we safety save.
Yeah, it happens. That's why you safety save. We will need to do a quick little run through as I get get my mouse off the screen, because there's only one mouse allowed in this run, and that's Verm. So we're gonna restart that. It happens. It's kind of the thing with running RPGs. You're kind of playing it for some random nonsense to happen.
Yeah, it's unfortunate that the wildest RNG moment is at the very end of the run. Like that's the biggest effects of RNG is right there.
Yeah. But it's fine. We're here to hang out and have some fun. So yeah. We can go ahead and march again, and so yeah, to reiterate, what happened there was, 1, Shaban got hit, which meant that Shaban would no longer be at full health for the quick kill. And normally my backup for that is to spend an extra turn to generate some extra overclock stacks that would replace the damage that is lost when we take that hit. That does give the Yellow God an extra opportunity to attack us. I'm going to go ahead and rage here. And
the Yellow God will grab at that point.
Yellow God will grab someone, which is problematic, because if it grabs Shaban, then we can't attack. We can't kill the boss. And if... That was the wrong move. That's fine, I think. If Shaban gets grabbed, we can't attack. If Verm gets grabbed... If Verm gets grabbed, then... Verm, please. Thank you.
Verm, please? Okay, good enough.
If Verm gets grabbed, then Verm can no longer give the mushroom item to Shaban, which is important because the mushroom, again, gives rage to Shaban, doubling their damage. This is fine. We're just taking an extra turn here. Yep.
Alright, one of the attacks need to hit. There we go. Good enough. Yeah, missing the quick kill on the fumigation machine is thankfully not a big deal. It just kind of slows you down a little bit.
Yeah.
Not getting the quick kill in the final phase, however, is what we saw before.
These things happen. To prevent whatever that was last time, I will go ahead and give Siobhan the mushroom to get this in one hit. Item, mushroom, Siobhan. Spread fire.
Yeah, there we go. That's normally what happens.
Alright, we're gonna do the setup again. See how this goes. Everyone, lend me your energy for some good RNG.
Chat, send your energy.
Alright, going to overclock. Overclock again. Shield break the left hand of God. Going to encore Siobhan. Overclock to 4, and then cross our fingers. That's fine. That's fine. Okay, I think we're out. Alright.
Okay, so it's 2 1 and 4s, not just 1 1 and 4. Okay.
Yeah, so yeah. Overclock. Shield break the other hand of God. Encore Shaman. And do a spread fire.
We're out, chat.
Yeah. The fight doesn't end quite yet, but it's basically over now. And we're going to do overclock again. Shaman's missing some damage from somewhere. I don't quite know where that is, but it's fine. That's fine.
We wanna... Maybe heal Siobhan? I think we're out now, right?
Yeah, I think we're out now. Yeah, we are. Something
That
happened
was
there.
Weird. I'm not sure where the damage was missing from, but yeah, we're out. It's okay.
It's fine. We're out. Now for the actual coolest thing in the game. Imagine, if you will, that you clock into your 9 to 5, and you're just tasked with like doing your normal thing, like exterminate some rodents, and then a group of 4 rodents approaches you, beats you up, smashes you with a giant hammer, and then a mouse approaches you and just goes, run.
Very interesting thing about the text in that sequence is all of the predators, like the cat, for instance, have a special kind of text, like font, and all of the other creatures have regular font. But in that final moment when Verm tells the Yellow God to run, Verm is given the font of the predators.
So, yeah, the Yellow God decides to just get out of there, which, like, fair. I don't think that anyone's getting paid enough to deal with that. The bomb went off. Big Ben exploded. It's fine. Don't worry about it. time is not coming up just yet. Time will be when we approach Shaban here at the end. Alrighty. Yeah, that has been Small Saga. I hope y'all enjoyed. This is, again, a really special game. A game I love a lot. Just to do some of my shoutouts now while we're walking over here. Well, first off, I'm going to do a shout out for time.
Time.
Yeah. Shoutouts for me. I've been threepup. If you liked this, you can follow me on twitch.tv/threepup. I'm going to be running this game a lot because I'm going to be running it at Frost Fatales, which is going to be running through March 8th through the 14th, I believe. I'll be running it on Tuesday, in the morning, around 11 o'clock, I think. Time zone spoiling, but I also run a lot of other indie games. Shout outs. The big shout out is to Moonblaze Wolf, who got me into this game. It's kind of one of my new favorite games, and so I'm really appreciative. He's also helped me a lot with learning the run and just supporting me in general. So yeah, thank you. And yeah, shout outs to my lovely girlfriend Mia for hanging out in comms with me and keeping me company. And shout outs to Sel for inviting me. I love showing this game off. It's great. So yeah. Mia, shout outs.
I do want to answer the one final question in chat, whether or not that's the same god they fought in heaven, and the answer is probably not, and it's actually addressed in game. Verm recognized that it's probably not the same person, but it's more the principle of the matter.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool.
Yeah, Mia, where can people find you?
You can find me at twitch.tv/MiaSchemes. Every Friday at 3 p.m. I go live for Fruins Friday. I'm playing through my playthrough of La Mulana. And I also make dice, so find me on Discord. I have my commissions open. Yeah. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. I'll pass it back over to Sel.
Thank you so much for joining us. And for short notice, threepup was originally scheduled for February, and she did me a great favor by swapping over to January here. So thank you for this wonderful showcase. Now, if you also speedrun an indie RPG or an obscure RPG, I would love to have you on the show. You can reach out to me. Come join the Limit Break Discord, !Discord. We'll get you involved. You can also find me on socials at Selcouthmind. Come chat, come find me. I would love to have you on. But also, I'm going to remind you all once again, Limit Break, our charity event, is coming up. That's going to be in May this year in Denver, Colorado. And game submissions are opening on February 1st. That is very soon. So get your applications ready for that so that you can submit and you can potentially come join us in raising money for the National Alliance on Mental Illness. If you're not a speedrunner, don't worry. Volunteer applications will be opening, but those won't be open until March. So keep an eye out on our socials. Again, our Discord is the best place to be involved. And it's a wonderful, great community. Lots of cool things are happening in there on a regular basis. With that said, that is the end of today's show. I do encourage you to come back, though, next week, because next week at 12 p.m. Eastern, Questing for Glory is starting. That's going to be a week-long event of RPG speedruns. It's going to be super exciting. It's going to be tons of fun. They have a whole schedule. It's going to be great. If you want to see more hidden encounters, more indie and obscure games, our next episode is going to be on February 15th. Of course, you can see past episodes and all of that over on our YouTube channel. If you missed any of those, it's all over there. Go check that out. But thank you all for coming, hanging out, watching. We're going to send off the love to someone else playing some cool RPGs. We'll see you all next time.